Namaste India. Namaste India channel is launching MBA graduate programs in YouTube. Hope you will welcome it. In these videos, I am explaining each and every subject in detail, and for exams I am putting glance of MBA with the important points. No need to study entire subject during exams. You have to just revise the subjects. I hope that it will be helpful to MBA students for gaining knowledge and degree with excellence. Thank you. Hi friends, today in this video I am starting first subject principles and practice of management in detail. In this chapter I will discuss about definitions of management, role of management, functions of managers, levels of management, management skills and organizational hierarchy, approaches to management. In this first part of Introduction to Management, we will see the most important activities in business. The management of the 4 M's. These 4 M's are men, missions, material, and money. The term management can be interpreted differently in different contexts. Hence, it is difficult to define. In one context, it may comprise the activities of executives and administration personnel in an organization, while in another, it may refer to a system of getting things done. In a broad perspective, management can be considered as the proper utilization of people and other resources in an organization to accomplish desired objectives. With increasing global competition, changes in the world of technology, changing business practices, and increasing social responsibility of organizations, the role of managers has become all the more significant. The term management can be interpreted in a variety of ways. To gain a better understanding into the nature of management, let us look at some of the definitions of management. Harold, Kunz and Hench Weirich define management as the process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in groups efficiently accomplish selected aims. It is nothing but use of people and other resources to accomplish objectives. Second definition is Dalton E. McFarlane defines management as process by which managers create, direct, maintain and operate purposive organizations through systematic, coordinated, cooperative human effort. Here, managers carry out the functions of planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. In order to understand the role of management, in the late 1960s, Henry Mintzberg devised a new approach, the managerial roles approach, by observing what managers actually do. He did a careful study of 5 chief executives at work and found that they were involved in a number of varied, unpatterned activities of short duration. Using a method called structured observation, Mintzberg isolated 10 roles which he believed were common to all managers. As shown in table, these 10 roles were grouped into 3 categories: interpersonal roles, information roles, and decisional roles. A manager is required to interact with many people both within and outside the organization, and hence the need to perform interpersonal roles. The 3 roles: figurehead, a manager performs all ceremonial or symbolic duties. Example, it would be the duty of a college student to award diplomas at the convocation ceremony. In the leadership role, a manager is required to motivate the employees to perform their best to achieve the company's objectives. In a liaison role, a manager is required to interact with people both within and outside the organizational. In the informational role, he will act as a recipient, disciplinator, and a spokesperson. In decision roles, he will act as entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and a negotiator. negotiator. So these 10 roles explain the role of management. We can go through this table, and here I have given all the roles played by the manager. In many small business enterprises, the owner is the only member of the management team. But as the size of the organization increases, a more sophisticated organizational structure is required. It is a normal practice to categorize management into three basic levels: top level management, middle level management, and supervisory or first level management. The figure shows the levels of management. The duty and responsibility at these three levels of management vary from organization to organization depending on three factors: size, technology, culture, etc. prevailing in the organization. The number of managerial positions at each level varies from organization to organization. In most of the organizations, there are more positions at the first level, fewer in the middle, and a very few at the top. Many describe this kind of an organizational structure as a pyramid, as the managerial positions gradually decrease as one progresses to the higher levels of management. This is about levels of management in the organization. Principles of a manager provide a useful framework for organizing management knowledge under the various heads of planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. Managerial functions are effective tools for managers to achieve the organization's planned objectives. They include the general administrative duties that need to be carried out in virtually all organizations. Figure depicts the management process and shows the various functions that managers are involved in. It is evident from the figure that the managers are involved in more than one activity at the same time. In the first step of planning, planning can be defined as the process by which managers decide the mission and objectives of the firm and take necessary steps to achieve the desired objectives. At the same time, managers need to determine the future trends in business and incorporate change and innovation into the organization from time to time. So, the first step is planning. The second step is organizing. Organizing is the process of assigning tasks and allocating resources to individuals to enable them to accomplish organizational goals. Organizing is a continuous process of determining which tasks are to be performed, how tasks can best be combined into specific jobs, how jobs can be grouped into various units, and the authority and reporting relationships within the corporate hierarchy. The organizational structure of a firm is a key element in determining its success or failure. The third function of managers are staffing. Today, staffing is better known as human resource management and involves manning or filling the various positions in the organizational hierarchy. Activities like determining manpower requirements, assessing the number of people presently available in the organization, recruiting and selecting candidates, training and placing them in an organization come under the purview of staffing. This function also deals with compensation, performance appraisal, promotion, and career planning. The fourth function, let's see, leading is defined as a management function of influencing, motivating, and directing people towards the achievement of organizational goals. It is a management function that involves influencing and inspiring team members to perform well and accomplish corporate objectives. Leading involves communicating with others, leadership styles and approaches, and motivating people to put forth the effort required to achieve organizational goals. Don't get confused. In simple words, it is the act of making things happen through others. After leading, the last step is controlling. The final step in the management process is to monitor the process of organization towards its goals. Controlling can be defined as a continuous measurement and analysis of actual operations. Second is the establish industry standards developed during the planning process and corrections of deviations, if any. The basic control process involves comparing performance with standards, determining where negative deviations occur, and developing remedial measures to correct deviations. So, these are the main functions at various levels of management performed by managers. Top management, its functions are develops long range plans and strategies, evaluates overall performance, and involves in selection of key personnel and consults subordinate managers on subjects or problems of general scope. These are the main functions of top management. Now, middle management, what does it do? It makes plans of intermediate range and prepare long range plans for review by top management. It analyzes managerial performance and it determines capability and readiness for promotions. It establishes departmental policies. It reviews daily and weekly reports and it selects and recruits personnel. These are the functions of middle management. Last is supervisory management. It is the last level of lower level of management. It makes detailed short range operational plans. It reviews performance of subordinates. It supervises day to day operations and makes specific task assignments. And also it maintains close contact with employees and involved in operations. So these are the various functions performed at different levels of management. The next part in this chapter is management skills and organization hierarchy. So, what does it mean? A manager's job is varied and complex. Hence, managers need certain skills to perform the functions associated with their jobs. During the early 70s, Robert K. Kulch identified three kinds of skills for administrators. These are technical, human, and conceptual skills. A fourth skill, the ability to design solutions, was later added to the above mentioned skills. First, let's see technical skills. Technical skills refers to the ability of person to carry out specific activity. In order to do so, one needs to have knowledge of methods, process and procedures. Mostly in professions like engineers, computer specialists, accountants and employees in manufacturing departments all have necessary technical skills for their specialized fields. Technical skills are essential for first level managers. For example, employees at the operation level work with tools and their supervisors and must be able to perform the tasks assigned to them using these tools. In the last slide, we have been the first level managers and what functions they perform. So, these spend most of their time in training subordinates and clarifying doubts in work related problems. The second and most significant skill is human skills. Human skills or interpersonal skills refer to the ability of a person to work well with other people in a group. It is the ability to lead, motivate, and communicate with people to accomplish certain objectives. Human skills are of paramount importance in the creation of an environment in which people feel comfortable and are free to voice their opinions. These skills aid employees during interaction with their supervisors, peers, and people outside the work unit, such as suppliers, customers, and general public. These skills are important for all levels in the organization. You know what levels are there? Top level management, middle level management, lower level management. So, in all these levels, we require human skills. Technical skills are required in lower level management, but in top level management and in middle level management and lower level management, in all these three levels, human skills are important. Next, see conceptual and design skills. Conceptual skills refer to the ability of a person to think and conceptualize abstract situations. It is the ability to understand and coordinate the full range of corporate objectives and activities. These skills are most important at top management level as top level managers have greatest need to see the big picture to understand how various parts of organization relate to one another and associate the organization with the external environment. Now we will see the last skill which is recently added, that is design skills. It refers to the ability of a person to find solutions to problems in ways that would benefit the organization. Top managers should not only recognize a problem but also suggest ways to overcome them. If they only see the problem, they become mere problem watchers. So it will prove ineffective. Managers at these levels should be able to design a rational and feasible solution to the problem by considering various internal and external factors. The relative significance of these skills varies at different levels in the organizational hierarchy as shown in the figure. Let's see the last part of introduction to management, that is approaches to management. In the past 3 to 4 decades, many management theories and writers have made remarkable contribution in the study of management. By studying the various approaches to management analysis, we can understand the concept of management and have a better understanding of managerial functions. The various approaches to management analysis or first one is the empirical or case approach. In this approach, one tries to understand management principles with the help of cases. It also identifies the situations wherein organizations have either succeeded or failed by following this approach. Second is the interpersonal behavior approach. This approach is based on individual psychology and focuses on interpersonal relationships. Third is the group behavior approach. This approach is based on sociology and social psychology. It stresses on the behavior of people in groups. The fourth one is the cooperative social systems approach. It advocates a system of cooperation using both interpersonal and group behavioral aspects. The socio-technical systems approach. It realizes the impact of technical systems on personal attitudes and group behavior. This approach focuses on areas involving close relationships between technical systems and people involved such as production, office operations, etc. Next is decision theory approach. The focus in this approach is on the decision making process and people involved in it. Next is systems approach. It considers organization to be open system and interacts with the external environment. It recognizes the importance of interrelationship between planning, organization and controlling. Next is a mathematical or management science approach. This approach treats management as a logical process which can be expressed in terms of mathematical symbols and relationships. The ninth approach is a contingency or situational approach. In this approach, the main assumption is that there is no hard and fast rule for all situations. Managerial practice depends upon circumstances. Different circumstances may necessitate the use of different methods. Tenth approach is the managerial roles approach. This approach has been developed by studying working methods of five chief executives. The study identified 10 managerial roles which were grouped into three categories: interpersonal, informational, and decision roles, which I have already explained in the chapter. 11th approach is the McKinsey's 7S framework. The 7 S's used in this approach are strategy, structure, system, style, staff, shared values, and skills. The last approach is the operational approach. This approach attempts to develop the science and theory of management by drawing upon concepts, principles, techniques, and knowledge from other fields and managerial approaches.